So this question, we did talk about it in the webinar very briefly, but thought I'd just give a little bit more of an extensive response here. So the student says that they, in the process of applying for a fellowship, and part of the application process includes a 2-page research proposal, including references, struggling to fit everything into 2 pages. So we did talk briefly about this question in the webinar itself, and the main tip that I gave was that with such a short amount of space that you have available, you just really need to narrow it down to the 3 main objectives of a longer research proposal, which is what are you going to study, why are you going to study, and how are you going to study it. And I'm guessing that, including references, that might be a third of the second page. So perhaps you have, between a third and a half of a page for each of those 3 main sections. So, if we just sort of step through them quickly and sort of at that high level to get them into 2 pages, what are you going to study? You must describe, and you absolutely have to put a thesis statement in there. You have to put that statement of what you're going to be investigating. I don't think people will approve a fellowship application if you haven't got a well thought out, well defined thesis statement. And again, I explain that in the course, and there's videos on the YouTube channel. And then maybe 1 or 2 other bullets on a couple of key concepts that are mentioned in the thesis statement. And then definitely 1 or 2 bullets on the motivation, which does link a little bit to the why. So you could put those into your why section. But then probably also the problem statement. And remember, I also talk a lot about the difference between contribution and significance. So what you're going to study is the contribution you're going to make if you get through the study successfully, and then the significance talks to the why. So the second section, maybe let's just go into that now. If it's a fellowship application, I think you need to focus the significance of the study at the company or the institution that is approving this fellowship application, or if it's an institution or university, etc., then how is your study going to help them? How are they going to justify the money they spend on funding your research? So you have to do a little bit of homework to understand what is that institution's research objectives, what contribution are they trying to make in society, what significance do they try and achieve in society, and then your research is going to support that broader. So go look on their website, go find out what they're trying to achieve, go and look at what other studies that they have approved, and although you may be a bit further down the track and you've obviously got your thesis statement, as we've already put it into the what statement, your study, the design is probably fairly set, but you have to be quite creative now to angle it towards the contribution and the significance that it's going to have in society, and that'll be then your second section of why. And then how, you definitely cannot go into all the detail around your methodology. You could probably just state your methodology. And I think fellowship applications are going to be a little bit more interested in the practicalities of it. So are you going to be doing interviews? How are you going to get access to the people that you need to interview? Or if it's some sort of quantitative study, you need to gather specific data from the field. Do you need to travel? Do you need access to certain sites, access to certain material, chemicals in the laboratory, or whatever is your source of data, be it quantitative or qualitative? Be very clear about what that is and what you've done already to make sure that you have got a clear path, in terms of gathering that data and doing the analysis. I don't think fellowship applications are going to go to students that are still, really at an early stage of thinking through how they're going to do that work. And again, do your homework on the institution. Do they have the laboratory that you need? Do they have the facilities that can help you with the study? Do they have a network of people that have got access to the individuals that can help you if it's interviews and sort of qualitative research that you need to do, etc. So that's about the most I think that you're going to be able to get into 2 pages with your references. And then I think in the why, obviously a couple of bullet points just on where you've looked at other literature and other studies and other work, and that's then what you will include in your references. But 2 pages, maybe a smaller font. Good luck.